27 minutes, she was calling and texting 911 dispatchers, telling them that her friend was kidnapped outside of a Chick-fil-A, thrown into a white van, and she was now following the white van containing her friend who was being held in the van against her will. However, was any of this true? And how old was the 911 caller? Let's find out right now. Wednesday, my Cajun cuties. Yes, it's me, Anne Marie, aka the Cajun Crime Queen from Carrico, Louisiana. Cajun born, Cajun bred, and when I die, I'll be Cajun dead. I hope after this video that you'd like, subscribe, and comment, and don't forget to press on the notification bell so you never miss a video from me, Anne Marie. I hope you have a beverage. I hope you have a snuggle partner or a snuggle fur partner. Those are the best, and you're ready to hear a true crime story with yours truly. And as always, I want to know: are y'all drinking that water? Are y'all staying hydrated? Are y'all getting those tickers out? Remember, just a quick 20-30 minute walk, especially first thing in the morning, get those endorphins up, and you're going to have an amazing, wonderful day, I promise you. And as always, I want to thank all of you for joining me on this Wicked Wednesday evening as we discuss another true crime case. The case I'm going to be discussing today is a case that I never knew existed. As a true crime YouTuber, I always think I know about all the cases that happen all over the world because I research cases every single day. And I watch crime stories on the news, on the internet, everywhere. However, last week I was cleaning out my refrigerator, and as always, I watch YouTube on my iPad. Always true crime. Well, you know, on YouTube, once a video stops, a new one plays without you even trying. It just starts playing. And when I was watching this case, it stopped me in my tracks. I was shocked when I found out the age of the 911 caller. And the whole thing about this case blew me away because I learned so many interesting things. And I love to learn and I love to grow with my channel. So when I hear new things, I'm intrigued. I want to do research and I want to learn more about the case. And today we're going to be discussing a case that happened on July 26, 2023 near Daytona, Florida. 911 receives a phone call around 9:30 a.m. in the morning. And the 911 caller texts and calls and says that someone was kidnapped outside of a Chick-fil-A, thrown into a white van, and is being held against their will inside the van. They're being restrained, and there is a firearm involved. And this Jeep, the 911 caller says they are in a Jeep and they are following the white van. And as they're following the white van, they're calling and texting 911. Of course, as soon as 911 hears this, they go into panic mode. They dispatch helicopters, police officers, sheriffs, different counties. Everyone's on the interstate looking for this white van, as well as a Jeep following the white van. The Jeep is telling the police officers exactly where they are and where to go. However, none of these officers could locate this white van. No one could locate the white van. No helicopter, no sheriff, no police officers. So they want to know exactly what is going on because they need to find this white van. They want to know exactly who's in this van, exactly where they're going, and is this story really accurate? However, when they track down the location of the 911 caller, the location comes back to a resident. The location of the phone is not traveling at the time, but is at a home near Daytona, Florida. The 911 caller calls 911 and texts 911 again, saying that they can see the kidnapper. The kidnapper has blue eyes, brown hair. The kidnapper is holding the victim against their will, restraining them. There's a firearm involved. However, how is the 911 caller seeing all of this if they are following the van? Is the driver doing all of this while the person is inside of the van? Is there another person involved and the person can see on the passenger side? It just didn't make sense to me, and it didn't make sense to 911 dispatcher. The 911 dispatcher also notices that they believe that the caller is a juvenile, a child, and they want to know exactly what's going on. So they call the police. The police arrives at the residence where the 911 caller's phone is being traced back to. They arrived and they see a father mowing his grass. The father steps off the lawnmower and the dispatchers ask them, Do you have a child here by the name of Lily Lee? Because the caller said that was her name. He says, no, I have children here, but I don't have a child named Lily Lee. Why? Do you want to see my wife? Do you want to see my kids? They say yes. They all go to the garage where the man's wife is. And they're like, hey, someone's calling 911 from this residence. The phone is being tracked back to here, saying there's a kidnap going on. They following them on the interstate. And the parents are like, what? Nobody's calling 911 here. We just arrived back from Pennsylvania around 2:30 in the morning. We have been here all morning. Nobody's calling 911. And they just the whole thing just seems weird to them. Then all of a sudden, a child steps into the garage and the child's phone is ringing. And it is the 911 dispatcher. The police officers that's at the house, that's at the location of the home, answers the phone and says, hey, this is the police. And the police officer's like, oh, you there? You got her? Is her parents home? They said, yes. They grab the little girl's phone and see that she, in fact, did call 911. And they also notice that she is being very sketchy. She's very worried. She's very scared. Her parents look at her and they say, we know you called 911. It's on your phone. Did you call them? And she's like kind of stuttering, like, I don't know. Like, she's a child. She's scared. She's frustrated. However, they need to know exactly what's going on. The police's main concern right now is, number one, is this a true story? Is someone really being kidnapped and on the interstate right now driving? They're worried about the situation. They want to know if it's true. That's the only thing they are concerned about right now. However, they slowly learn that this story is completely false. The child finally admits that they did call 911, however, that they didn't speak. The cops know they are dealing with a juvenile and they are understanding that this whole story did not happen. And they have all of these police officers, including a helicopter, looking for this white van, but none of it is true. They look at the child and they say, do you know what you did is a felony? Do you know what you did is horrible and is putting people's lives at danger? And of course, the child's like, no, I admitted it. Well, why? She looks at her father. I admitted it. Well, why are you still mad? And the father's like, because you did something stupid. You shouldn't have done this. Look at all what happens. You could tell the parents are very frustrated and angry with the child because they cannot believe this happened. The police officer proceeds to tell the child, do you understand that people, including police officers, were running red lights, putting their lives at danger, putting other people at danger? Everyone's racing to find this white van, going crazy looking for this van. What if somebody would have gotten hurt? What if somebody would have crashed in this accident and something would have happened to them? How would you feel then? They tried to explain to her, the crime that you reported was a huge crime. It's not like she called 911 and said, someone stole my bicycle. Because if that happens, of course, the police are going to go to your house. They're going to take a report and they're going to figure out this whole situation. No, what the child did was report a huge crime that made helicopters launch and people go crazy and police officers from all over Florida looking for this van. It was a huge crime. They tried to explain that to her. And of course, she's crying. She's scared. She didn't know what was going on. They finally asked her, why did you do this? What made you do this? And she says she saw it on YouTube. Now, as we all know, especially as a parent, I'm a parent, my youngest is 13, we see kids doing crazy things all the time when they see something on YouTube or social media. But what this little girl didn't realize was that what she just did was a felony. And what happens next? They read the child her rights. And they are trying to figure out what are they going to do with this child and what's going to happen next. Because they do not know how to handle this, but they do know that what the child did was a felony and she needs to be responsible for her actions. For 27 minutes, the 11-year-old caller lied to the 911 dispatcher. And when the dispatcher says that they realized the child wasn't telling the truth, they confronted the child and the child said to go F themselves and stopped responding. This is according to the 911 dispatcher. All of a sudden, the 11-year-old knows that they are about to get arrested. They start screaming, they start hollering. They're like, I'm not getting in the car. I'm not going anywhere. Daddy, come with me. Mommy, come with me. And the child is scared. The police officers tell her, take a deep breath, calm down. We are going to put you in handcuffs. She is hysterical. And of course, as a parent, the parents are just looking like, oh my gosh, the mom's crying, saying this is the best lesson for her. The dad informs her, look, if you do something stupid in the future, you are going to end up in handcuffs. And the child says, I'm never going to do this again. Don't worry, I'm never doing this again. The police officers inform the child, we are going to take some pictures, take your fingerprints, bring you down to the police station, and then your parents are going to be able to come pick you up later. But for now, you have to come with us. Everything's going to be okay, but you have to come with us. You are, in fact, under arrest. The little girl is so afraid. But what she did was a crime. It was a felony. They bring the little girl down to the police station, and she is charged with making a false police report concerning a firearm in a violent manner, which is a felony, and misuse of a 911 call, which is a misdemeanor. She will never forget this experience for the rest of her life. What she did was, in fact, not a joke. This was taken very seriously, and thank God this is taken seriously every day. We don't want a kidnapper to come and kidnap someone and the police don't respond. We want the police officers to launch a huge search. But the little girl didn't realize that this was going to happen. Like she said, it was just a joke she saw on YouTube. It was just something that she wanted to do to see, I guess, what would happen. I don't know what she thought would happen, but this was huge. And she made this mistake, and she's going to have to live with this mistake for the rest of her life. My final thought, I always give y'all my final thought. And my final thought is, we have to understand our children better these days. We have to understand it is not like it was in the 90s and the 2000s when we were growing up. We didn't have all this social media. We need to understand our children are seeing all of this every single day, and they don't understand the consequences. They need to understand the consequences, and things can happen. When they do certain things, huge consequences can occur, like this situation. And our kids need us to put them on the right path, to guide them, to lead them, to make them understand what they do, what they're doing is wrong and what they're doing is right. And trust me, I have a 13-year-old, I have a 20-year-old, and they have done some stupid things in the past. Oh, I have done stupid things in the past. I'm sure a lot of you have, especially when we're teenagers. We all do crazy things. But the thing about our time was, the things we would do would be like sneaking out of the house, or getting some Boone's Farm, or like telling your mom you were at this friend's house when you were at this friend's house. Now we have trackers, we have Ring cameras, we have their location. They ain't going nowhere without us knowing. So we know exactly what they're doing, but we can't be there 24/7. We cannot protect them every step of the way. So we have to try to show them what's right and what's wrong. But in this situation, with this child calling 911, they had no idea it would spiral into this huge matter like it did. And it's unfortunate, but this child ended up getting arrested and committed a felony. That's a horrible thing to have on your record. But my advice to all parents, just like I do, make sure you know exactly what's on your child's phone. For my 13-year-old, the phone goes off when I want it to. The phone comes on when I want to. I have all the apps. I make sure she doesn't have certain apps on her phone. I know exactly who she's texting. I check the phone very often because I want to know what's going on her devices, because I don't want anything like this to happen. But I know, I'm not naive. Things will happen. Kids will do things and they don't understand the consequences. I hope after this video that you like, subscribe, and comment, and don't forget to press notification bell so you never miss a video from me, Anne Marie. And as always, stay safe, always be aware of your surroundings, and always know that I'm here for each and every one of y'all. And I want to thank y'all for joining me tonight while listening to another true crime case. And for you, I am truly grateful. I will see y'all tomorrow night with another true crime video. And as always, I love y'all. Bye.